Why is it God is not helping you? Why is it you feel no divine intervention? I believe there's two reasons for this, potentially. The first reason is that you are not giving your all. God will not step in if God, universe, whatever you want to call it, will not step in if you are only giving 90%. He will look and he will say, you have 10 more percent. Why would I give when you still have more? And I think the other one is potentially, and I'm less certain about this one, but I think the first one for certain, you will not get help if you do not give your all, nor do you deserve help if you do not give your all. But I think the second one may be you are unwilling to admit that you need help, that you are unwilling to admit that this problem, this situation, this task is too much for you alone to handle, and that you need to drop your pride and seek strength from elsewhere, from above. Now, as I said, I believe both are true, but I think the first one is easier to accept and I believe more firmly. And I don't think it's a stretch to think and to realize that you will not receive help, nor do you deserve help if you are not giving 100%. I mean, why would you call up not on divine intervention, but from help from anybody if you haven't even, exhausted all your resources, if you haven't given your best, if you haven't tried to solve the problem in its entirety? If you are, say, working on a project, trying to build something, say, trying to build a table that you bought on, Amazon, and you get stumped, it's hard to read the directions and, you're struggling with it. And the second you hit the roadblock, there's no problem solving, there's no taking a step back, there's no anything. There's just immediate asking for help. You know, why like if somebody if somebody is truly in your best interest, they will not help you because you learn nothing. You learn nothing if the second you get stumped, you call upon help and they come and they solve the whole problem for you. They do everything for you and then they say, "All right, there you go." And then, yeah, you got a finished product. Yeah, the outcome was what you wanted, but you didn't build the skills along the way to be able to obtain that outcome on your own. And, you know, I think this is nothing new, but Seneca, 2000 years ago, in one of his essays on providence, talks about how, I mean, God is like a father, and any good father has tough love, and in tough love, you have to make the one you are loving endure things that you don't want them to endure, hardships, difficulties, uncomfortable situations, things of that nature, in service to them so that they actually learn. We ask for strength and then we are handed hardships and then we curse God for the thing we prayed for. You never get you never just get the thing you want. You have to pay. You have to pay for it for the task that gives it. If you want patience, then you have to endure a lot of situations where you're losing your patience, and then you forge your patience in fire, and then you have true patience that is not so easily taken from you, because it has been forged, it's been tested, it's been tried in situation after situation, and it's not something that is just given to you and then under the little bit of scrutiny it cracks and it's useless. If you want, I just go back to the hardships one, because I think a lot of people want to be, quote unquote strong, mentally, physically. And how do you, I think it's very valuable to view mental things in the sense of physical things. If you want to build your physical strength, you progressively overload with weight and put a strain on your body and on your muscles with heavy weight. Now, to build your mental strength, would this not be the same? How do you expect to build mental strength when you do not, progressively overload with mental toughness? And God understands this, so God answers with difficulties when we seek strength. And I think so often we're so quick to give, 80%, 60%, even 40%, and then give up, and then wonder why it never worked out for us. Wonder why people talk about the law of attraction, and wonder why people talk about, God stepping in and everything happening for a reason, and, getting divine intervention, getting divine help. And, if say you're 100%, 0%'s right here, and then 100%'s like right here. If you give 90%, you're right here, and God will not help. But if you just give that 10 more percent, get a little higher, then there's no ceiling. There's no ceiling to that which can happen, and to the help that which you may receive from above. For God knows no limits. And if he sees you trying so desperately to surpass yours, he will try to surpass his, which are unsurpassable, for there are none. And that is when true miracles occur. That is when things happen that you couldn't even ever have hoped for. You could have never even have dreamed of. They weren't in your capacity to believe that you were worthy, that you even had any shot at achieving goals, a life that amazing. And I forget the verse in the Bible, but talks about how basically God's dreams are so much bigger than your dreams are for you. And that's why you should trust God, and that's why you should have his will, and that's why you should want what he wants, because he wants far more for you than you can even conceive for yourself. So if you're looking for divine intervention, if you need help and you're not giving 100%, then that's your problem. And if you are giving 100%, but you think it's enough to get your wildest dreams to come true, and you're not humbling yourself in asking God to work through you, then that also may be your problem.